welcome to the Meta Sangha Tuesday class. Oh my gosh, it's so great to be with you all again. And thank you for just your willingness to be in practice and community, especially when there's so many different ways of what you can do with your time, right? We can be in a lot of different places. And just that willingness to be in community and in practice is a powerful thing, especially practices of the heart, right? And so much of the shares, and oh, by the way, I'm starting intentionally to record. So, and I will send an email. My commitment is to start recording the sessions and then putting them up on my YouTube channel. And that will be a place where anytime you want to go back to just to practice these meditations and teachings will be available online. Yay. It's just like, it's just like this whole sacred trust of, okay, I love technology and it's like figuring out all those nuances of editing and all that great stuff. And I will figure it out. I'm totally committed because I love these practices and um, just love the work that we do in community. So for those who may have not been here for each week and those who have been in practice, since we started this journey together last month, is just what does it look like being in the different cycles of life? So we've had some beautiful conversations around what it's like to be in new beginnings and what it's like how we kicked off things and how do we bring the sacred in what is new, the newness of the moment which is always happening, which is a wild thing. So this idea that, okay, linear, especially when it comes to time, Kali Ma is such a beautiful illusionist of time, right? That's one of the forms that she comes in to in terms of our reality is on time, And we had this idea like, okay, there's a new beginning here. There is what sustains us and what's ending. And really, we're experiencing these cycles of life all the time in different parts of our lives. So, really, so much of the practice in the container of metta, which such a beautiful way of holding these different worlds, right? That can be so, at times for the mind, can be very jarring, right? It's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this is so new, and how do I be with this? Even when we're in the flow, which this month is all about sustaining, right? What sustains us, even when it is unclear of the path that we're on, there are certain things that always remains with us. Like, who are we really when we come to the deepest parts of our heart of love? And that's what I love so much around what it means to be in practice with the metta. And for those who are not as familiar with metta, it's been a sacred practice that's been um, it's gave birth and entry in the Buddhist community, and it really is this universal teaching around how do we hold our own sacred heart and love and kindness, even when we don't always feel that way. So some of and let me just put within the chat, 'cause I came a little bit prepared to put the meta phrases in the chat. And these are the meta phrases that we will hold within our own sacredness. And one of the things that I'm also noticing, even in my own practice, and what it means to be in reality, and it's great. And sometimes I love a good drag where the show is together, like you have your stage and you're really looking to present a certain quality to the world that you feel like it will give people access to their own heart. And there's something so powerful around, having these different aspects of ourselves that is moving through the world, moving within ourselves to give us greater access to love. And at some point, unless it ends totally where it all falls away, which we'll get into the emptiness of Buddhism a bit in our practices. And that's why the unseen world is such an interesting um, really just an interesting topic. Like, what does it mean to be with the unseen, and how do you hold this in practice when you're not even clear? Are we at the beginning? Are we what sustains us? Is something ending because you can't really see? It's like having that blind trust of love. And I oftentimes, to me, the sacredness is the mother, the universal mother. And what's so beautiful around the sacred is it's so deeply personal to each of us. So for me, it's the divine feminine. For some, it's Shiva, the divine masculine, and for some, it's all of these different worlds. And for those who don't know, my primary practice is Hinduism. So I do love to play in these different worlds of divine masculine, the divine feminine, and everything in between. And it's such a representative of what I even see around gender and my own gender expression of being so fluid in these different realities. And so as we go into our practice tonight, I'm going to invite you to really allow yourself the spaciousness to be with all the things that you really desire. Tonight's going to be a practice around getting clear on what you desire and not try to shy away from what is true in the heart's desire versus idealism. Because we will get into that. And I know from my own personal experience when I really started to realize, oh my gosh, there's a liberation path that we can get off this cycle of life and death. Well, let's just go for total liberation and the mother that is all of us. We're all unique expressions of the divine. Is so clear on how do we experience different parts of life so that really rings true. I'm ready and I really want this thing called liberation because you hear this all the time. Well, I know I hear this where people are like, oh my gosh, yes, I am ready for liberation, all that. And it's something that I find not as simple as, okay, this is what I want. I'm gonna go and practice. In 5 years, I'll be liberated. Or 1 year, because I'm doing all these Kriya practices. Me as a Kriya Bond of the Yogananda lineage is part of my practice. I had this idea around, let me go ahead and move into focusing on these Kriyas, which came from Mahavatar Babaji. For those who are familiar with the autobiography of a yogi, it's one of those things where, oh my gosh, if I do one Kriya with intention and focus, then that will remove the karma for a lifetime. Each time I do a Kriya, and I had this idea, okay, and then the mind will make up certain things like, okay, I think I have about a hundred karmas left. See, this is how we make up things, 100 karmas left. So one of the things that's going to be so beautiful about our practice today is you start to settle into your seat, whether you are in a chair or on the floor. I'm going to invite you as a part of the intention, which is our sacred container, just to start our practice, is to really start to, as I start to move us into a practice now, what is it that what is my true heart's desire? And getting real with it. And that's so much what I love about Kali, and I use Kali, and it's so important for me just to say the sacred name of the mother is reality. And she is such a beautiful aspect of in our own experience, we have a moment where we feel like we're holding reality, and it's reality of the moment. And as you go deeper, you realize there's a sacred call, a sacred longing of the mother behind that desire. And I really do feel this way as you begin to close your eyes, if you feel comfortable as you start to breathe into your body, can you allow yourself to really be in a moment of self honesty where it's just sitting with yourself as you start to breathe into your heart center? And as you breathe into your heart center, just start to connect in and be in this place of noticing what are the desires of the heart that's coming up. And as you begin to breathe in and out of the heart, can you allow yourself as you really practice inner listening of your own heart as whatever comes up is perfect. See if you can allow yourself to be in this observer of the desires of your own heart with each inhale and each exhale as you start to come into the center of your heart. What's your heart's desire? It looks different forms and it's unique to you. So really take this moment to soften into the heart. And as you breathe and focus, you start to be in this place of noticing what comes as what is those desires, whether you find it gives you joy, just see how you respond to it, or if it gives you contraction. Just start to see how your body responds with each inhale and each exhale breath. And can you allow yourself, as you go deeper into this practice of the heart, not to really be in this efforting of looking for desires? Can you just trust your own physical body and your breath, the awareness of your own breath to be this guide, breath, body, and even the mind to really start to bring into clear focus what is the desires of my heart? And as you are starting to get more clear with each inhale and each exhale breath, see if you can notice a pattern. See if there's a repeat sort of desire that keeps coming up that's clear for you. And as the pattern becomes clear for you, can you hold it with tender care and just allow it to create movement where you use your breath to allow it to just move out of your center focus? So bring it into focus with the inhale breath. And just with the ease of the exhale breath, soften and allow it just to move out of the clear of your out of your focus. And as you're breathing in and out, I'm going to invite you as you're starting to get clear on your intention of the patterns of desires to set an intention in your heart as you're breathing in and out. What does it mean to connect to the sacred longing that is in each of the desires of your own heart? See if you can allow yourself this moment to really breathe in and out of the heart and really allow yourself to set that intention around what does it feel like? What is it to breathe like and be with that connection of that call, that sacred longing, that calling of your own deepest truths of your heart of love. And as that attention settles into your heart, I invite you just to do a body scan, scanning from your feet, slowly rising with awareness up your feet, just doing a search for any sort of tension of the body that could really be an obstacle to your practice around this awareness of the heart. And as you scan the body from the feet, calves, thighs, and rise with awareness, allow yourself to really take time to feel through where there needs to be a deeper connection of the breath to soften a part of the body that may feel still a little bit resistant, a little bit tight. See if you can allow yourself to take a deeper breath just to have that part of the body settle. And as you're doing a body scan, if it's helpful, if a part of your body where you want to just move it and tense the body with the inhale breath and then exhale settle, this gives you a moment right now to kind of feel into how to be in this place of giving your body the moment to just soften, whether that requires a tensing and relaxing with the inhale breath, or even just a little bit of movement just to soften into this practice more. And once you get to the top of the head, can you allow yourself the moment to just breathe in your entire body from the bottom of your feet all the way to the top of your head? Just breathe your body in. Feel the breath connect with, at the same time with your feet all the way up to the top of your head. Just taking deep breaths. Really using the breath and the awareness of the breath to be a container of holding you with love and kindness. And as you breathe your body, can you tense the entire body from your feet all the way to your top of your head, just tensing it with the inhale breath. And then as you exhale, soften into your seat. Just take a few rounds of inhaling, tensing, exhale, relaxing the body. And then once you finish that third exhale breath, can you allow yourself to return to normal breathing and bring your awareness down to the base of your spine at the root chakra, your sense of individual self. So start to breathe into the base of the spine and see if you can feel into what is it that you desire from an individual body self. We start to breathe into this root chakra now, just to connect in. What is its desire, connection, or whatever comes? Allow yourself to be in this awareness around what is that desire at the root chakra. And as it starts to, you use your inner listening of intuition. I invite you, as things come, just continue to repeat the metta phrases into the root chakra of where that point of desire, once you start to really feel it move up and forward, may I be happy and peaceful. May I be safe and protected. Really connecting this into the root chakra at the base of the spine, the metta phrases. May I be healthy and strong in this body. Just really breathe this in. As the desires of the root chakra comes to clarity, take to just give it the loving kindness practice, just to soften and just keep breathing and just allow each of the desires to come to center focus. May I live with ease and well being. Breathing in and out. Really feeling this groundedness in the root chakra, allowing the desires to come to full focus. Just continue to give yourself metta with loving kindness at the base of the spine. Taking in 3 deep inhale breaths into the base of the spine with intention, loving kindness. 3 deep exhale breaths. And whenever you feel that fourth inhale breath coming in, breathing into the base of the spine, we invite you to hold it there for a moment. Allow the awareness of that hold of the breath to really start to build into the base of the spine as you continue to give yourself metta. And then slowly exhale up a couple of inches up the spine and exhale out the second chakra, which is just below the belly button on the spine. So begin to breathe into the second chakra. And as you're breathing in and out the sacred chakra, the second chakra, can you allow yourself just to be with your own creative flow, your own sexual expression in the second chakra for a moment? And as you're breathing in and out of this creative energy that has different forms, can you allow yourself, I invite you with the intention of what is the desires of my second chakra? Allow them to come forward just naturally with each inhale and each exhale breath. And as you start to see and feel in your own body the desires of the second chakra, can you allow the metta loving kindness practices to be a way to kind of split into those desires, just to create a bigger opening and understanding, a deeper wisdom? May I be happy and peaceful. And you're breathing that into the second chakra. May I be safe and protected to really be in this flow into the second chakra. May I be healthy and strong in this body. And as you're saying the meta phrases, even settling into a meta phrase that feels most resonant for that chakra, really start to feel into as you say it. How does it start to create shape or a deeper cultivation of that desire of that chakra? Just be in this place of observing what comes up and really use that breath to stay present. May I live with ease and well being. Breathing in and out of the second chakra for the next three deep inhale breaths, three deep exhale breaths as you be in this place of observing what rises within the second chakra. Whenever that fourth inhale breath comes in, breathing that fourth inhale breath into the second chakra just below the belly button on the spine and holding it there for a moment, feeling it build with awareness, still saying the meta phrases, being this place of noticing. Then slowly exhale up the spine a couple of inches and exhale out the third chakra just above the belly button on the spine. Begin to breathe into the third chakra, which represents your own individual power, how you show your own the individual power in the world. Can you breathe into the third chakra and allow yourself to visualize as you're breathing in and out the third chakra a sacred fire? And the element of the third chakra is fire. So allow yourself to visualize yourself looking at the sacred fire, breathing in and out of the third chakra. And really, with your own breath and calling of your own being, start to call forth what are the desires of the third chakra as it relates to how I show up in my own power. What are really the true desires? We start to use the breath to go deeper into the gaze of the fire and whatever symbols, feelings of the body that may come up, or even thoughts. Can you be with that and be present with that and still be in this moment of the inhale and exhale breath? And as it becomes clear within the fire of the third chakra of your own individual power, what is your desires as they come forward, I invite you to give these desires some metta. May I be happy and peaceful. Breathing into the third chakra on your spine. May I be safe and protected. May I be healthy and strong in this body. May I live with ease and well being. Continue to really be in this awareness of the meta phrases and see if there's even some wisdom on a specific phrase that resonates with the third chakra of the loving kindness practice. And as the desires of the third chakra and sense of individual power comes forth, just continue to just hold it with loving kindness. And if you find yourself where it's just there's nothing coming forward, just you can still hold and trust even without having clarity of what's moving forward with your individual sense of power. Continue to hold even that with loving kindness. If it's unseen, it's not really clear yet. Can you hold that as a part of your third chakra? Taking 3 deep inhale breaths into the third chakra, just above the belly button on the spine, as a way of just really kind of gathering that wisdom of this part of your awareness around power. Just take 3 breaths in and out. And whenever that fourth inhale breath comes in, breathing it into the third chakra, holding it there for a moment, still being with the metta phrases. It's really creating a container of the third chakra with metta. And then exhale up the spine and out the center of the chest at the heart. Begin to breathe back into the heart, your heart's desires, where we started this practice. I'm going to invite you as you're breathing in and out of the heart, see if you can feel into what is it the heart longing for? The sacred longing of the heart. As you're breathing in and out, allowing yourself to feel into this with each breath, that difference in connection with the heart and sacred longing is like, what's the longing of the heart where you really start to create this wholeness, this sense of being connected, not only just to the parts that are very limited and very human. And what does it feel like to be at that point, that bridge where it connects to that complete access to love in a way that is unabandoned, wild, and complete? So breathe in and out and see if you can feel into this longing of the heart, this longing to be what you in this moment, even with all your desires, call as free. Where is your heart as you breathe into it, still holding back when it comes to love? Breathe that in for a moment. And as you're breathing in and out of the heart, and it gets clear and where you feel like you're holding back in love of the heart, where there's a moment where you can tip over into that complete awareness of love and all that is in your life. Start to give yourself some loving kindness metta of the heart as you do this quest of inner listening. May I be happy and peaceful, breathing that in, observing what comes. May I be safe and protected. Breathing that in. May I be healthy and strong in this body. May I live with ease and well being. Keep breathing in the metaphrases. See if you can even allow the metaphrases to be its own expression where it's leading, even without you thinking about it. The metaphrases are just starting to come alive in your heart as you start to get more and more clear of what are you looking to really become aware of in terms of the desires of the heart that might be kind of holding you from really tipping over to really being in love with love. Just know that the meta phrases you are safe, breathing in and out, the meta phrases of the heart. Now taking in three of your deepest inhale breaths, three of your deepest exhale breaths, really starting to hone in on the heart and its desires. And once that fourth inhale breath comes in, breathing into the heart, holding it there. See if you can even be with the stillness of the heart as you hold this breath and still repeating the meta phrases for a moment. Whenever you're ready, slowly exhale up the spine and out the throat. And then you're going to begin to breathe in and out of your throat chakra. As you're breathing in and out of your throat chakra, can you still feel the heart as a part of that sacred longing of love? As you start to breathe and become aware of what are words, expressions that you just quite haven't gotten out yet that you're holding, is desires that you're that's unspoken that you're ready to really start to expand in communication with the world. Your sense of voice and self-expression. Start to breathe that in and out of the throat chakra. What are the desires that are unspoken? And as the desires that are unspoken become clear with each inhale and each exhale, as you invite this awareness without judgment, can you begin to give these unspoken desires of communication some metta? May I be happy and peaceful. May I be safe and protected. And breathe that into the throat chakra. May it be healthy and strong in this body. May I live with ease and well being. And as these sacred moments of sound comes to you, you can even start to listen with your inner ear. Allow your throat chakra to speak to you as you give it love and kindness. Allow that communication that's not said, that's held in a container of love and kindness. Allow that to speak to you in the inner listening of your own hearts as you're breathing in and out of the throat chakra. Now taking in 3 deep inhale breaths into the throat chakra, 3 deep exhale breaths, really softening as you're still opening up more of that inner listening of what is unspoken that's connected to your heart and your own well being. Whenever that fourth inhale breath comes into the throat chakra, I invite you to hold that breath at the throat chakra, still repeating the meta phrases. See if anything comes as a part of your inner listening of the heart. And whenever you're ready, slowly exhaling up and out the point between the eyebrows. Begin to breathe into the seat of intuition at the point between the eyebrows. And as you're breathing in and out, just to create a deeper activation of intuition, whether your eyes are open or closed, can you shift your gaze gently to the point between the eyebrows at the point of activation? So as you're breathing in and out, I invite you to allow yourself just to be. What are the desires of intuition that just hasn't been honored, that hasn't really been put forth in your life, but where you're just not allowing it to come forth, your own intuition? Just breathing it in and out to shift your gaze there. And as each phrase becomes more and more clear, I'm going to invite you to repeat the meta phrases as the seat of intuition, as you start to do a deeper learning of what are those intuition points that are just not being clearly expressed. May I be happy and peaceful. May I be safe and protected. And breathing that into the seat of intuition. May I be healthy and strong in this body. May I live with ease and well being. Continue to breathe in and connect to the metta phrases. Really inviting this loving kindness practice to be a container of trust as your intuition begins to share with you more openly and freely. What are the desires of your seat of intuition that want to be expressed? Taking in 3 deep inhale breaths into the seat of intuition as you still keep your gaze shifted to the point between the eyebrows. 3 deep exhale breaths, just giving it metta, having that trust. Metta of love is just really holding what you're receiving as a share of intuition. Whenever that fourth inhale breath comes in, after taking 3 deep inhale breaths, 3 deep exhale breaths, that fourth inhale breath will invite you to hold it there at the seat of intuition, being this place of fullness as you continue to practice metta. And then slowly, when you're ready, exhale a couple of inches up and and fully exhale just below the top of your head at the crown chakra. And begin to breathe in and out of the crown chakra. And this is where you really get to allow yourself to really be what it would be like to allow yourself to fully let go of all your desires and take that leap if you're ready into all that is love, where it goes beyond desires. See if you can take a moment just breathing in and out and set the intention. What does it mean to really allow yourself to have the freedom where you can allow all the things that you've been and practicing with awareness of each chakra? Can you allow yourself, give yourself permission for a moment with each inhale and each exhale breath to allow it to go? Give it to the mother. Even visualize the mother is breathing in with each inhale breath, breathing into you, that sacred longing of letting go. And as you exhale, you're breathing out, giving it to the mother. What is it that you're ready to let go? Not making judgment, good or bad. See if you can breathe in all that is true and expansive and love, and kindness. And as you exhale, letting go all that is good, not good, giving it all to the mother, whatever you're willing to let go of. And as you're starting to feel this letting go with the exhale breath, giving it to the mother's breathing in the sacred longing of expanded heart into the crown chakra. I invite you to bring metta into your practice. May I be happy and peaceful. May I be safe and protected. Breathing that in as you're breathing in the sacred love of the mother and exhaling and letting go of desires. May I be healthy and strong in this body. May I live with ease and well being. Continue to repeat the meta phrases as you're feeling the breath of the mother breathing into you, this expanded awareness, awakening of love. As you're exhaling, you're letting go. Even give yourself that permission, let go, even what feels good and feels like it's rightfully yours. Only if it feels real and true to you to let go of it. Take three of your deepest inhale breaths of this practice, breathing in the mother's expanded love and heart to you. Feel that really come into the crown chakra. Three of your deepest exhale breaths, really starting to cut some patterns of desires that you're just like, I'm ready to let it go. I've gotten the lesson. And whenever that fourth inhale breath comes in, breathing in that fourth inhale breath into the crown chakra, and invite you to hold it there for a moment, feeling it build and still saying that meta loving kindness, just giving it love, the wisdom of the mother, all expanded in this in holding of the breath. And with awareness, you're going to slowly exhale down the spine and exhale out the center of the chest at the heart chakra. And start to breathe in and out the heart chakra, sense of home. As you're breathing in and out of the heart chakra, just notice, be in this place of noticing how you feel. not to change or correct, whether desires still come or not come. Just notice what comes up. And as you're breathing in and out, can you feel the mother, whatever that looks like to you? In each inhale and each exhale breath, can you just repeat inwardly, I am loved. Continue to repeat this phrase as you're breathing in and out of your heart, just as you feel it in your heart, I am loved. Allow it to be a sacred offering to you from Divine Mother, the Great Mother. I am loved. Notice how your heart responds as you continue taking the fullness of this, what it means to be truly loved. Taking in three of your deepest inhale breaths, three of your deepest exhale breaths, still repeating, I am loved, the heart. Mm. And then once you finish that third exhale breath, bring your palms to prayer at your heart. Just take a moment to feel into what are you grateful for? And whatever comes to you, can you just inwardly say, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And then bowing chin to chest just in completion of your practice. And let's just rub our palms together briskly for a moment. We've been sitting for a while. Feel the energy of love between the palms. And then cup both of your eyes. Really start to feel the energy move from your healing hand. Really inviting this awakening of your eyes to see. And then lifting up your palms up to the sky. Oh, flexing your spine. And then you can settle your hands down. And if your eyes are closed, you can feel free to open your eyes. Mm. All right. I have a body. For those who were in medicine space with me, that's one of the things I have to remember. I have a body. Get back in the body, Bhavananda. Maybe Natalie was a part of that as well when I was having to affirm I had a body in medicine circle. Um, but yes, and I have my monitor here. I keep switching the stage, the drag stage as I call it. So I have my monitor here so I can see those who have their camera on and those who don't. Sending you all so much love. And yes, so love that practice. It's so resonating around. I really do feel like, especially when it means to not be able to see, when you're in the midst of life and there's moments where it's like I have no clarity. I like where do I go? It's as if life itself. We can call it the Great Mother. We can call it life, because life, by certain traditions, for those who believe in having a master teacher, one of the things I love so much is life can be your guru. Life is really the ultimate guru because it's so many different ways of how love itself shows up to teach us something. And this is why I love so much around what is it, just getting some sort of clarity around those parts of ourselves that are unexpressed, these unexpressed desires, where we're not allowing ourselves to really be fully open and fully seen. And it's such a beautiful way to use the breath. And the breath is so sacred. One of the beautiful teachings of the lineage Kalinatha Yoga. That is the lineage that I was a part of, as I consider myself still to be a post-lineage teacher. It gave me so much to work with, and I still love some of the sacred practices inside these teachings, inside of the lineage. The master teachers of that lineage would talk about how the breath is that sacred connection between you and Divine Mother, because I'm such a Divine Mother devotee, and you could just say love itself, because really, I feel like showing up the material world and all the illusions that come. And illusions is even this idea like, oh, Baba has this little hat on. I love that hat, the bright colors. Where did he get it from? He is rocking it, or I'm not dealing with all this, all these different, how we kind of interpret what's going on. And to me, I call it, if that's all we can really see, and not only me, just the different traditions of the mystics, if all you can see is just what's in front of you, how deep is your breath to go beyond that? Because really, the breath I do feel is this bridge between worlds. We allow ourselves to be with it, where we can see there's a deepening of what we are experiencing in the moment, what is true, and it's a way to help us, especially when it feels like there's a haze. And that's one of the beautiful things I find around my primary teacher, Kalima. So much of the learnings I have received, especially in life transitions, are centered around how can I allow myself to be led and not see? Can I feel the Sacred Mother's connection even if the path isn't clear? And one of the ways that really helps me land when it comes to the Great Mother, and I can't quite see my path. And there's all these different things where the mind will make this is important, this is important. I got to take care of this, I got to tend to this. And certain things are, a lot of things are very good depending on how you're leading with your heart. And can you be with the intention of why am I doing this work? Why am I showing up in life? What has brought me from the exhale breath of the last lifetime? And as I breathe into a new lifetime, what keeps bringing me back? What are the unlearned lessons around how deep is my love that I can't quite see? And that's why I love so much around intention settings. And intention settings, when it comes to navigating the unseen world, when you're not clear of how to move, is such an important place to land. One of the beautiful, and I think Spring would be fine with me sharing this. What I love about Spring, sending Spring Washington so much metta right now. I miss her so much. Such a journey each day. And there's that sacred longing of the heart just to know that she's there in the 5D, right? One of the beautiful things that as we talked about her journey going into her own individual practice for the year, there was this deep call for us with other parts of our inner community to be like, why am I doing this again? What is the reason? And it was such an important way. I love where she taught me around when fear arises and you're unclear of how to kind of move. And it's so easy almost to forget why you're doing what you're doing. And that's what I really think if you don't remember your intention, and it's really the overall intention of what holds you between lifetimes. I love her intention is very beautiful, and I would love to say I'm there and I'm still learning. What does it mean to serve and be in the liberation of all beings, right? As that container of love, like I do this work to serve, not only liberate myself, but for the service and liberation of all beings. True Bodhisattva, right? We have different ones who hold that, that light and from a real sense, and this is where it's such a learning how real, and all we can do is check our own intentions around if that is our highest intention is true, like a bodhisattva in training. I'd rather say bodhisattva in training for myself. And like I have my little training wheels on the bike and I'll just stay there for a few lifetimes. But I just think it's so important just to be with that first. What is your landing place? And sometimes the landing place, that's why I love going through the different chakras because the landing place doesn't have to be there. That is an intent place to be, the liberation of yourself and all beings. And I've said this in many other classes that we have, and we really deep dive it into it on Sunday in the unseen world and the unseen workshop. What does it look like to feel in to the body, feel into the emotion, feel into the parts of us that our mind will say is the deepest truth of what is eternal within us, with the breath as a guide? What does it really look like to allow yourself to let everything dissolve? Because really, when it comes to the material world, life itself, I'll keep saying the mother and love, because the mother for me is very personal when I think about realities, the mother and Kali Ma in particular, but for those who just remove all traditions, life itself will give you the different realities to really work with. So you can really start to see what is true, whether it is falling in love. So many folks want to be in love and romance, and I've lived it because I'm not a renunciant, right? And it's like, oh my gosh, this is amazing. It's like the movies. And yes, and I'm a big fan of and. There's so much work when we start to think about what it means to be in relationship with people when it comes to what does it look like to honor their deepest truth and your deepest truth when it comes to love and doing the work. Because really, romantic love, having children, having the work that we feel is meaningful in the world or not meaningful. What I love so much also about the teachings of life is it's not always about having everything so pretty and put together and say, okay, this is why it's working. It's like, how do I use everything? And that's something I love from Kalinatha Yoga, my previous lineage, and it's still a lineage that lives within me. How do I use everything to crack open the heart of love? What is my deepest intention around using every scenario, even the things that are rightfully mine and life itself says, can we let it go? Because it's easy to let go of those if you're not quite, especially when it comes to unseen. I love to do a lot of energetic clearing when I'm moving through something and I can't quite see my path. It's like, I'm gonna get rid of this that I don't like. I'm getting rid of that. Let me clear this energy. Let me transform this relationship. It's always easy to go to the things that we figure cause us suffering, which we get into suffering in a moment around and what the mind makes mean suffering. And can you hold the intention, which is a container, which we started with around, can I allow myself to, even the things that are rightfully mine, let it go? Can I allow myself, and this is where it gets interesting, while when the teachings of emptiness in Buddhism, right? What does it mean to let it all fall away? And it even for me, and I feel like one of the last things that will fall, and it goes to that infinite bliss, whatever that connection the great mystics talk about, even Kalima, this form that has been with me for lifetimes, I feel. What does it mean at the end when I'm on the ledge of what they call all that is love, above my pay grade now, but but let's go there in the wildness, liberation itself, to take that leap where even the form of the mother, whatever it is, whether it's Lakshmi, whether it's Kali, whether it's the Christ nature, when you can just take that leap with intention, because that's really what holds us, what brings us back, helps us to remember when we don't remember. I find and I love that conversation with Spring around what is my intention? I'm having a hard time remembering because the first thing that really starts to happen is why things become unseen is we can't quite remember why we're doing what we're doing. And that's quite of a challenging thing because things get so rough, life gets so wild. We're like, oh, why am I doing this again? This is not worth whatever it was. And the mind will say, yes, forget, forget, forget. And then we start to go into this wilderness channel of life where we're just kind of like trying to remember who we are and what we're doing. So intention settings, especially you'll find as you go through the different chakras, is so important in breath, the different realities, right? Whether it's being in the body, the voice, sexual expression, creativity, all these things are really these points of our realities for our own freedom to love. And so much of what it means to be in the parts of ourselves that understand our desires is we start to feel the longing behind the desires. Because I know, and I think we've all been there where we work so hard for something. I know I've had many, like some boons when it comes to promotions at work or, having a new relationship, a new friendship that's really giving me life and making me feel very expanded, there is a limit to how big it can really open up your heart. And if you allow yourself to be present with what's in front of you, whether it is what you love or not love, and really breathe into your heart with a trust of inner listening, you can feel into what's the longing. I really do feel like there's a calling of your own sacredness behind every desire. Sometimes it can be so subtle. And what's so great about doing practice, especially in community and in loving kindness, is love, I feel, when you really start to feel into it, is one of the most softening, clear ways of feeling that's not so rough. The world can feel like so bulky and like, oh, this is getting me. And you can really, if you can feel into the love of metta loving kindness, or even just remembering at the end, we talked about I am loved, you can really start to find your way into, if seeing your path and seeing the different steps is helpful, asking the truth of the boon of how do I see a little bit clearer so I can move a little bit clearer. And there are times when you're cultivating love between yourself and your deepest self, which is a wild thing to think about. There's parts of you, parts of me that have yet to meet. There's parts of me that's looking, parts of us that's really looking to come forward when it comes to loving kindness. How do you start to cultivate love and connection, even if you can't quite see that those parts of you that feel so expanded? And that really comes down to the practices, right? And that's why we meet in community. This is why we have our loving kindness practices. What's beautiful about doing practices that's been around for thousands of years, like the metta practices, they continue on beyond even our lifetimes. I do believe that these sacred rituals, even working with these different elements of fire and water and earth, these parts of life, the Great Mother, are here to facilitate our own freedom, our ability to move beyond just limitation. I need to see, I need to have everything figured out. To be in one of my prayers, and now it's almost like my wig has come off. When I was doing a lot of medicine privately with Spring and some other healers, I would do the sacred prayers. Help me, and I can't believe I said this, I clearly was on the medicine a lot. Help me to not always have to see. Help me to cultivate a sacred trust in my own heart where the path is not always clear, where I can still move in love, even when it's unseen, even when my body is physically tired and I have to take naps. Naps are very important too on the path. Taking a nap. Please rest, people. Rest. Life, like, and I forgot the name of and feel free to put in the chat. Rest, naps are the revolution. There's an amazing female healer, I think she's a Black woman, who talks about resting ministry. Can't remember her name right now, but rest. And I literally have those moments where my body feels tired from the movement of energy and really trying to understand, like trying to move through the different life changes. But imagine if you can go into the wildness, and that wildness I love so much when we're at the end of the meditation about being on the edge of liberation, where one teacher I really love of the Yogananda traditions, like when all falls away, both light and shadow, both good and not good, and everything in between, where you start to see it all fall into emptiness. There's a moment of loneliness. He talks about being in his deep state of samadhi. There's a moment where you feel nothing. It's almost like you want to go into feeling like, oh my God, I'm afraid there is nothingness, there's total emptiness. And right almost when the heart wants to let go and give up, infinite bliss comes. Infinite bliss of the mother. I just thought it was so powerful because so much of life at times, depending on where we are and how we hold life, I think each of us have those moments like, am I remembered? Have I been forgotten? And that's why remembering, even if you feel like you're forgotten, cultivating love, I am love. Even if the mind reality says, I can't quite see and I'm alone, can you be in that space of, yeah, my mind has told me that before, especially in life transitions. It'd be like, well, I think you're forgotten. Everyone's in their world, and you're just here. I was like, you know what? Let me tell you what hasn't forgotten me. Love. So I speak to the delusion of my own creation because it's all created in the mind, and that's where I go into, in the Buddhist tradition, talks about the wisdom of suffering. It's such a beautiful thing to really allow yourself. to be with the waves of ups and downs of life where you're like, oh my gosh, I didn't get what I want. And I've actually, it's amazing. I think we've all been there where you pray for something, you do your intention setting, your rituals, you manifest it, and you get what you asked for. And it's very different than what you thought it would be. I think we all have that too. It's like, oh my God, like I thought I really wanted this, and now even this desire that is good is a lot of work to nurture and cultivate. What is the wisdom here? Because I'm feeling like I'm enjoying this new relationship or this experience of life, and all of a sudden it feels very hard. And the mind will give you these waves of, you know, really inviting suffering if you allow it to. And sometimes I do see I see desires as salty water at times, even if it's subtle salty water, because the thirst is always there even if you can't see it because you're just like, I want more. And this is why you see in our world, especially now there's patterns where people want more money, more wealth, more power. And and literally you can see it in their bodies. Their bodies are really depleting and it's looking dry and not juicy, you know? And I do think there's a wisdom around how you hold suffering, how do you hold desire? Is there a way that we can hold the wisdom of suffering with an open palm? I think what causes us to suffer more whether we call it good, bad, or in between, is when we hold to our suffering, when we hold to our pain or our joy, because eventually there's also the suffering of, I don't want this to ever end. My mind has played that before, where it's feeling so good. And I remember before spring left, and for those who've been a part of the medicine retreats, I remember having those moments like, oh my gosh, this is the best time ever. I don't want this to leave ever end. And that's not realistic. That's not realistic because we have our collective work together and then we have our individual work together. And what does it look like to be with all of it, right? To be with all of it with an open palm, which is so difficult because I know I could do an open palm for those things I want to go away. I'm like, go away. I'm like blowing on it. But it's the things that you want. And it's like, let me grip into this. Let me hold this because I don't want to leave. Even holding desires that are too can be very heartbreaking too, right? And that's where it comes back to we think these, and that's why I love going through the body to get really clear on making what is unseen seen, because I really do feel like part of why we can't see is our desire sometimes could be louder than seeing on the path where because we're like in denying about what we want. And I remember for me, where it was really hard when things opened up, for a while, part of the lineage I was a part of, I really wanted to follow the monastic path. And I was like very determined. I was celibate for 4 years. And I was like, I'm gonna do this. I was like, I love me some monks. I'm a monk myself. I've been doing my Kriya for years at the time. I was like, I'm about to go ahead and give it all to Divine Mother. I don't need any relationships romantically, it's just get in the way and it wasn't my highest truth. There's a part of me that really, even as a small child, that wanted to get married and like be in love and have the whole thing play out. And there's a part of me that was just so afraid of wanting that and not happening that I started to go into denial. And this is why I couldn't quite even see that on my path. It became this unseen desire. And what I love so much with my previous teacher, what she shared is she at the time was 25 years of being a monk, and she shared that no one rushes to be a celibate monk. So I was like, I want to be celibate, yes! Like that is actually a calling. And then she looked at me and she was like, you should date more. Try dating, be with guys, do the whole thing. And I was like, I don't want to do that. I was really upset. I wanted her to make me a monk. I'm like, don't you know how difficult it is to be in relationship with other humans? And she's like, yeah, I know it's complex and there's something in your heart that's calling that. And there's something that I didn't quite share with her, but it was something that I was not quite looking at that was true. Because even my reaction and aversion, there was nothing peaceful around me. Like, I don't want to do that. I don't want to date. So even that reaction tells a deeper truth. And it's been amazing because once I started getting clear, the path of love started opening up and this new dharma about what it means to be in the world started to show up and be more clear as well. And it really started to open access to my heart that I could not quite get to because it was a partnership that was needed to open things up and make it more clear. So that's when it comes to getting clear, because those desires will cause you not to see if you don't get clear on them and start to really be with them. And I will say, even when you're clear on desires, there's no such thing as a rule where I'm clear on all my desires, now I can see. There is a bit of mystery. That's why the cultivating that love with the sacred is so important. Being connected to sacred longing is so pivotal, and being your practices and community is so important because at times I do feel like the part of us that's sacred wants to really be in the unseen world. And that's what I love so much about Kalima and the wildness of not always being able to see, and how life itself can be such chaos because some of her work in this aspect of Sacred Mother is in a place of chaos. And sometimes I feel like when you can't see, imagine you're in a blindfold and you're driving a car. That's what I really feel like sometimes with chaos of life. You're like, I can't quite see. I hope I don't get in an accident, but it's all these different obstacles, and there's a level of trusting. And I don't advise anyone to be blindfolded and driving too. That's my announcement. But I will definitely say there's also that part of, can you cultivate the love that you're loved even when you're clear? And he's like, I'm so clear. Why can't quite see my next step? That's why the unseen is such an important part. Just to be able to be with love at the very end and being with loving kindness, be landing there. So as I close out this conversation, it's just like really understand that the roadmap of life you have already. And there's parts I do find in the sacred teachings of unseen, because its own sacred teachings, that even with you not seeing, there is a teaching for you there. And there's a beauty around trusting even when it's not always clear.